Welcome to my channel, where today we'll be breaking down the top 10 fantasy anime with an overpowered main character. So if this is a topic that interests you, make sure you stick around until the end of the video, as there may just be some anime on this list that'll surprise you. But with all that out of the way, let's get right into the top 10. First up, we have Takt Op Destiny. The United States of America has been in chaos ever since the emergence of 2Ds, an invasive species originating from a black meteorite that fell to Earth. A public decree is soon set in place that bans all citizens from playing any kind of melodies to try and prevent further casualties caused by the 2Ds' hatred for music. Even now, in the year 2047, this prohibition is still in effect. And now, the only form of defense against the 2Ds are music arts, young women representing a piece of classical music and conductors, the one controlling them. Soon, Takt Asahina, an aloof piano prodigy, finds himself transformed into a conductor following a spontaneous 2D attack. The same incident kills Anna Schneider's younger sister, Cassette, and brings Takt into contact with his music art, Destiny. Searching for a means of stabilizing the pact between themselves, Takt and Destiny, alongside Anna, embark on a perilous journey to the symphonic headquarters in New York. However, Takt is in a hurry to reach the city, so he can play the piano once again, even though he's aware that his passion attracts the creature that he has come to despise. Meanwhile, Destiny's sense of duty drags the group into trouble along the way. Now forced to face a 2D-infested path and many more challenging obstacles ahead of them, the trio will stop at nothing as they complete their journey and make it to New York City. Making our way to the 9th place on this list, we have Touken Ranbu. In the year 1863, Izumin no Kami Kamisada and his partner, Horikawa Kunero, arrive in the streets of Edo area, Japan from the future to investigate their master's report of an upcoming invasion. Now as humanoid manifestations of the famous Tojizu Hajikata's swords, they have been tasked with protecting history from the retrograde armies that seek to alter it. Soon enlisting the help of other sword warriors, they continuously battle the mysterious army throughout the Bakimatsu period. However, their journey will not be an easy one. They are faced with blood and betrayal, the duo will be forced to make difficult decisions to complete their mission, all the while being weighed down by the knowledge that one wrong move might just be enough to alter the history of the world. In 8th place, we have Hitori no Shita the Outcast. One day, on the way to visit his grandfather's grave, Zhang Chulin is attacked by zombies in a graveyard. In the midst of the situation, he is saved by a mysterious girl who wields kitchen knives in order to kill the enemies. The girl tells Chulin, who is relieved to be alive, that he must face his hardships head-on before mysteriously disappearing. However, Chulin later sees that same girl at his university, and from that moment forth, his destiny begins to move, as there will be strangers with special powers appearing one by one, with battles involving those abilities. Each episode will bring to light new challenges and mysteries that Zhang Chulin must overcome. Next up, at the 7th spot on this list, we have Burn the Witch. Historically, 72% of all deaths in London are related to dragons, fantastical beings invisible to the majority of people. And although only the inhabitants of the hidden reverse side of London are able to see the dragons, the majority of its residents are unqualified to stand up against the dragon, and only a select few who have been granted the title of witches or wizards are able to make direct contact with them. The protagonists of this story are a pair of witches, Noelle Nihashi and Ninny Spagenkol, who are protection agents for the Winged Bind, an organization for dragon conservation and management, and are tasked to protect and manage the dragons of London on behalf of its citizens. However, this is not as easy of a task as some may assume, as they are constantly met with new challenges and obstacles that they must overcome in order to fulfill their duties. Taking up the 6th spot on this list is Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. The world is in the midst of an industrial revolution when horrific creatures emerge from a mysterious virus, ripping through the flesh of humans to satisfy their never-ending appetite. The only way to kill these beings, known as Kabane, is by destroying their steel-coated hearts. However, if bitten by one of these monsters, the victim is doomed to a fate worse than death, as the fallen rise once more to join the ranks of their fellow undead. With only the most fortified of civilizations having survived this turmoil, as is the case with the island of Hinamoto, where mankind has created massive walls to protect themselves from the endless hordes of Kabane, the only way to get into these giant fortresses is via a heavily armored train, which are both serviced and built by young men such as Ikuma, who has created a deadly weapon that he believes will easily pierce through the hearts of Kabane. Now, Ikuma eagerly awaits the day when he will be able to fight back against the Kabane using his new invention. Little does he know that his chance may just come much sooner than he could have ever expected. Making our way to the halfway point on this list, and at 5th place we have Tales of Zestiria. The celestial records speak of the existence of seraphim, a race of divine beings who give blessings to humanity and are offered prayers by them in return. Those who are anointed with the ability to interact with these spirits are known as shepherds and are hailed as heroes for their prompt appearance in times of crisis. While also being feared for their power, the shepherd alongside the seraphim have been imprinted in common folklore. Now Sori, who is a young human who has spent his entire life living in harmony alongside the seraphim, in the village of Elsai has become fascinated by the myths of the Celestial Records and has started to explore the nearby ruins with Mikleo, who is his childhood friend who just so happens to also be a seraphim, in hopes that he would be able to enlighten himself about the seraphim's history with mankind. Unfortunately, they become trapped in the depths of a historical site during their investigation. While searching for an exit, they come across a mysterious girl who desperately seeks the help of a shepherd to save the world, which is on the brink of being consumed by darkness. Despite Mikleo's warning about making contact with other humans, Sori decides to help the stranger, which unknowingly leads him closer to his dream of peacefully coexisting between man and seraphim, while at the same time sparking a series of events that might just save the world. Coming into the 4th spot on this list is Blockade Battlefront. Vampires, talking fishmen, and all sorts of supernatural monsters now living alongside humans has become a normal part of daily life in Hell Selim's Lot, formerly known as New York City. This all started after a gateway between Earth and the Beyond opened 3 years ago, and New Yorkers alongside creatures from other dimensions were trapped in an impenetrable bubble and were forced to live together. This phenomenon has also led to the formation of Libra, which is a secret organization composed of eccentrics and superhumans tasked with keeping order in the city and making sure that the chaos doesn't spread to the rest of the world. Meanwhile, a young boy named Leonardo Watch is living a normal life pursuing photography as a hobby with his parents and younger sister. But when he obtains the all-seeing eyes of the gods at the expense of his sister's eyesight, he ventures into Hell Selim's Lot in order to help her by finding answers about the mysterious powers he received. However, he soon runs into Libra, and when he is unexpectedly asked to join their ranks, he gets much more than what he bargained for. Blockade Battlefront proceeds to follow Leo's misadventures in the strangest place on Earth with his equally strange comrades, as an ordinary boy unwillingly sees his life take a turn for the extraordinary. Starting off our top 3, we have Rokka, Brave of the 6 Flowers. An ancient legend states that with the revival of the demon god, 6 heroes known as the Braves of the 6 Flowers will be chosen by the goddess of fate, granting them powers to rise up against the fiends attempting to turn the world into a living hell. Adlet Meyer, who is the self-proclaimed strongest man in the world, has arrived at the continent of Pina in hopes of becoming a brave, and although it doesn't go as smoothly as he had planned, Adlet is ultimately chosen as one of the 6 heroes. Shortly after, he is greeted by the Crown Princess of Pina, who also so happens to be a fellow brave. The two then embark on their destined journey to fight the demon god, intending to meet up with their fellow heroes at a small temple outside the land of the Howling Demons. However, when they finally unite, 7 heroes are present, and soon the others begin to suspect Adlet to be a fraud. Now on the run from 6 legendary heroes, Adlet must utilize his unique skill set and wit to fight for his life in order to identify which member of the group is the true imposter before it's too late. In second place, we have Beyond the Boundaries. Mirai Kuriyama is the sole survivor of a clan of spirit warriors who possess the ability to use their blood as weapons, and thus Mirai is tasked with hunting down Yomu, creatures said to be the manifestation of negative human emotions. One day, while deep in thought on the school's roof, Mirai comes across Akihito Kanbara, a rare half-breed of Yomu in human form. In a panicked state, she plunges her blood saber into him, only to realize that he is an immortal being. From then on, the two form an impromptu friendship that revolves around Mirai constantly trying to kill Akihito in an effort to boost her own wavering confidence as a spirit warrior. Eventually, Akihito manages to convince her to join the literary club, which houses a pair of siblings who also happen to be powerful spirit warriors in Hirumi and Mitsuki Nase. As the group's bond strengthens, so does the tenacity of the Yomu around them, and their adventure soon turns into a fight for survival, as the inevitable release of the most powerful Yomu beyond the boundaries soon approaches. And finally, coming into the number 1 spot on this list is Bungo's Stray Dogs. For weeks, Atsushi Nakajima's orphanage has been plagued by a mythical tiger that only he seems to be aware of. Suspected to be behind the strange incidents, the 18-year-old is abruptly kicked out of the orphanage and left hungry, homeless, and wandering through the city. While starving on a riverbank, Atsushi saves a strange man named Ozumu Dazai from drowning. As it turns out, Dazai is a detective who has been investigating the same tiger incident that has been terrorizing the boy. Together with Dazai's partner, Doppo Kunikita, they are able to solve the mystery, but his resolution leaves Atsushi in a tight spot, and as various odd events begin to take place, Atsushi is cornered into joining their firm of supernatural investigators, and taking on unusual cases the police are unable to handle. Now, Atsushi begins his new life as a detective by protecting the city from various emerging threats, alongside his numerous enigmatic co-workers. Well, there you have it, my list of the top 10 fantasy anime with an overpowered main character. If you made it to the end of this video and enjoyed it or found it helpful, hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, as I will be uploading new anime recommendations every Sunday and Wednesday. In addition to that, if you have any genres that you would like for me to cover in a future video, let me know down in the comment section. But until next time, signing out.